Metal Jesus, and I'm back again with another pickups video. It's been a couple months and I have almost 40 games to show you, but I'm really excited because since the last one I've done, I've actually found some games that I have been looking for literally years. Now these are games I probably could have got online, but I've been trying to find them in the wild and I'm so excited to finally have them in my collection. So let's not waste any more time and let's take a look. Now, before I get into the meat of this pickups video, I wanted to focus on a console I rarely talk about, and that is the Xbox 360. Occasionally, I do buy new games. I mean, who knew, right? And let's start off with Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. Now, I picked this up on the cheap because I'd heard good things about it, and actually my wife was looking for a game to play, and so she started playing this, got about 60 or 70 hours into it, and then hit a game-breaking bug. It's a known bug, and because the development studio went out of business, they're not going to fix it. So if you happen to do things in a certain order in the very beginning of the game, you can run into this and not be able to finish it. So total disappointment because the game was actually kind of fun. The combat was pretty awesome. So I don't know, this is kind of a disappointment. And then I'm a huge Tomb Raider fan. I actually bought the first Tomb Raider when it came out on PC. I actually upgraded my video card at the time to a 3D accelerator just to play it. And I've been playing it throughout the years, and they have a new one. This is kind of a reboot. And I love this game. I played it and beat it. Thought it was fantastic. I'm so excited that they rebooted it this way. Really cool game. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And then another game came out that I paid full price for. I mean, who knew? I'm a huge System Shock and System Shock 2 fan. I also really like the first BioShock, and BioShock 2 was pretty good, but BioShock Infinite just came out, started playing this, and this is also a great game. Super happy with it. Really surprising where the story is going. It's going in places I did not expect it to go. I haven't finished it just quite yet, but there's some twists and turns in this game. It's pretty damn cool. And then on the cheap, while I was at GameStop, they had Duke Nukem Forever for like $3. I don't know why I didn't pick it up before now, but I was like, okay, for $3, I'll get me some Duke, and looking forward to playing this. Some people like it. I don't know, some people not so much. Personally, myself, I'm actually a really big Duke Nukem fan, so I'm sure it'll be pretty cool.
That was fun.
I recently went to an estate sale here in Seattle, and those are kind of hit and miss sometimes, but this particular estate sale had tons of games, and I picked up a bunch of stuff. I'm only going to show you a little bit of it, just what I consider some of the highlights here. Some Game Boy Advance games here, like Mr. Driller 2. I guess this is like an action game, and kind of picked it up because a lot of people talk about it, sort of like a little bit of a hidden gem. Another hidden gem is Sigma Star Saga. I guess, I haven't played this yet, but I guess this is like a shooter that is also an RPG, which sounds pretty interesting. So I was pretty happy to find a copy of this. I've actually been looking for this for quite a while. And then Drill Dozer, again on the Game Boy Advance. Anyways, don't know much about it, but I figured, you know what, might be kind of cool. And then at this estate sale, they also had some DS games, and I need some more DS games, and these look like pretty cool RPGs, hopefully. Lunar Nights on the Nintendo DS. And again, I don't know much about this yet. I haven't had time to play it, but looking forward to this. And then just a random game that they also had there, and I think I only paid like, you know, $1 or $2 for it, is Lost in Blue 2. I think this is an RPG or maybe like a first-person game. Like I said, I haven't played it yet. So, but some cool random finds at a local estate sale. A fan of my channel noticed that I recently added a 3DO gaming console to my collection and wanted to know if I wanted some more games for it. I was like, sure, that'd be really cool. He sent me through international mail a ton of games, and I got these and I was like, oh, these are kind of interesting looking. Well, it turns out that in his country, 3DO games are really rare. So actually these are pirated versions of games that he sent me. And he's like, you know, I know they're not the real thing, but you know, it'll give you an idea as to what games you might want to collect. I was like, that's pretty cool. Actually, I don't mind that sometimes because sometimes the artwork's really interesting, and I don't know, it's just a really cool way to sort of test out the game. So he sent me a bunch of them. I'm gonna go through a couple of them here. Total Eclipse from Crystal Dynamics, and Way of the Warrior. I'm gonna very quickly go through some of these. Super Wing Commander, Burning Soldier, I'm not sure what that's about. Hopefully it's a shooter, I have no idea. Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes and Demolition Man. VR Stalker, Microcosm, here's Road Rash, which I've heard the 3DO version is the definitive version, and then Alone in the Dark. So thanks very much for sending those to me. Fans on my channel may have noticed I've been spending an awful lot of time focusing lately on the Sony PlayStation Portable, or PSP, and I've been doing a series of hidden gems videos. Well, in the process of getting those ready, I've been going to all of the local GameStops in the Seattle area and buying up pretty much anything that has a real case that's relatively cheap. And so in the last couple months, I've actually added 40 PSP games to my collection. Not all of them hidden gems, but it's been really cool to get a lot of those and get them very quickly. So what I wanted to cover is some of the games that I've added to my PSP collection that aren't really hidden gems, or maybe they're not going to be included in a video dedicated to that, but I kind of want to talk about them. And so let's start off here real quick. So if you're interested in the PSP, this will be pretty cool for you. And I got Parappa the Rapper. Now, I guess this was originally a PlayStation 1 game. I wasn't familiar with it because I didn't have a PlayStation 1 back in the day. But I picked up the PSP version for I think $1 or $1.50. It's pretty cool. This game has awesome music. I played this quite a bit when I first got it a couple months ago. Super fun. I don't buy a lot of fighting games, but there are a lot of great fighting games on the PSP, so I picked up a few that are relatively inexpensive, including Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max. I hope that's right. That's an awful lot of words in a title there, but played a little bit of this and got my ass handed to me. It's pretty brutal, but you know, I'm always looking for something new to get into, and there's a bunch of great fighting games on the PSP, including Tekken Dark Resurrection. You can tell that I'm not really familiar with these, so and this is the greatest hits version of that. But again, for, you know, a couple bucks, why the heck not, right? Now, you guys know that I love the Atari 2600, and Activision made some of the best ones on that classic console. So here is a compilation. There's over 40 games from Activision on this little UMD here, including my favorite, which is Hero. But I will say it's pretty hard to play on the PSP. That game in particular really wants an actual Atari joystick. But this is a pretty cool compilation if you can find it. In my Hidden Gems videos, I asked which games got you originally into the PSP, and a lot of people mentioned this one, which I didn't own, and that's Dissidia Final Fantasy, which I think is like a fighting action game. Maybe like it says action-based battle system RPG. No clue, haven't played it yet, but I picked it up, and it seems like it's one of the better ones to get. I also picked up this really weird game for only a couple bucks. I'm not sure why, but it turned out to be pretty fun, and that is Brunswick Pro Bowling. Yes, a bowling game. This is the first bowling game I think I've ever bought, and I was like, I don't know, bowling's okay, right? This is surprisingly fun. You actually tilt the PSP sideways and play it the long way, I guess is how to describe it. I actually played it quite a bit, and I was kind of kicking ass, so this is kind of a fun little game. Also, speaking of what the F, here is Work Time Fun, or what the fuck? I don't know. I saw this cover, I was like, oh man, I've got to get this. This is a really weird collection of, I guess, mini games. Some of them are kind of fun, some of them are actually work. It's actually boring as all hell. Super weird game. I don't know if it was a flash game at first or what, but I don't know, it's just one of those weirder games that you add to your collection. Here's a game that's not weird, that a lot of people love. I didn't own it, and that is God of War Chains of Olympus. A lot of people swear by the God of War games on the PSP, and this will be pretty cool to play. I need to play this sooner than later because a lot of people love it. Here's a game that I thought was pretty cool. It's the Power Stone collection on the PSP. The Power Stone series was really popular on the Dreamcast, and I have, I think, Power Stone 1 on that. But this is a little collection for the PSP, pretty cool to own. I mentioned Tomb Raider in the beginning, and I happened to walk into a GameStop that had 2 Tomb Raider games. I was like, and they were pretty cheap, so I was like, well, that's kind of cool. Tomb Raider Legend and Tomb Raider Anniversary, and these were both pretty fun when I played them originally on the PlayStation 2. I'm not sure how the PSP versions are, but I suspect that they'll be pretty decent. So, and again, they were cheap, so I added those to my collection. And here's a game I didn't know much about, but I'm a huge Ratchet and Clank fan, and that is Secret Agent Clank. Now, I think this is like a side story, and I don't know if it got great reviews, but I'm a big fan of that series, so I thought, you know, I'll take a chance on this. Might be kind of fun. You never know, because actually the Daxter game is awesome on the PSP. So, figured I'd take a little bit of a risk. And then finally on the PSP, I picked up Battlefront 2, the Star Wars game here. And I believe I played the first one on the PSP. I know I've had one of the Battlefront games before, but a lot of people swear by them, and I think there's like Elite something. There's another PSP Battlefront game that I'd like to get as well. And now we come to the last section of my pickups video. Now, a lot of you know that I am an old school PC gamer. That was where I got my start in the late 80s and most of the 90s. I did exclusively PC gaming. And it's kind of surprising how difficult it is to find classic PC games complete in the box. In the Seattle area, to give you an idea, I can find pretty much any console game that I'm looking for. I mean, even some of the really rare ones like Earthbound or Panzer Dragoon Saga, there's a couple copies floating around here. Now, you'll pay a lot for them, but you can find them. If I wanted to find a really old PC game that's complete in the box, it's very difficult to find. They're not in those stores. Sometimes they're kind of hit and miss, and online the prices are going way up. As a matter of fact, one of my dream games to find is System Shock 2. To get that game complete in the box and buy it for a reasonable price is pretty tough. So I've been searching on Craigslist for years to find a good lot of old classic role-playing games and PC games, and I finally found a guy. He's moving. He didn't ask an arm and a leg. As a matter of fact, each one of these games was about $3 to $4. And that's a hell of a deal, because the first game I'm going to show you right off the bat is actually worth about $60 to $80. And that is one of the great games from that era. It's a role-playing game called Ultima 7: The Black Gate. Now you're probably asking, I mean, what's the big deal? Well, these games used to come with actual cloth maps and tons of instruction manuals and guides to help you out. And this game even comes with like a little trinket in there. And this is not a special edition. This is how those games came when you bought them as new. It was just kind of how they were. And then another game I was looking for is a DLC essentially, or it's not downloadable content, but it's an expansion pack called the Serpent Isle. And this also comes with a bunch of extra stuff. So that was just how PC games were packaged and sold back in the late 80s and 90s. And try to find these games now, it's nearly impossible. So really excited to find those games and get them in my collection. But I've got a bunch more, including, I'm gonna show you here, TIE Fighter, the collector's edition. Love TIE Fighter. I have the disc in that folder thing that I have, but I threw the box away years ago like an idiot. So it's really cool to get this back, and it's in fantastic condition. He also had Star Wars X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. Again, look how huge these boxes are. They're beautiful. Love these things. He had Might and Magic, the Millennium Edition. Now this is really cool because this actually has a bunch of games in there. Might and Magic 4, 5, 6, and 7. He also had one of my favorite games of all time. I played this game to death. It is Sid Meier's Civilization 2. This box is like heavy. I mean, the manual is amazing. I love this game back when it first came out. Oh my God, so awesome to finally own this again, complete in the box and in great condition. Now, I've mentioned this many times before, but I am a huge Baldur's Gate fan. Love Forgotten Realms, love BioWare. Got a complete, beautiful condition of Baldur's Gate 2, one of my favorite role-playing games of all time. Again, it's complete, has all the stuff on the inside. The big box version, love it. In addition to that, I got some other stuff here, including, look at this collection of MechWarrior stuff. The MechWarrior games back in the day, man, the Activision games were freaking awesome. So, and then he also had a copy of MechWarrior 3. I haven't played this game, so I don't know why I never played this one, but I'm gonna have to do that. Gonna have to bust it out and give it a go. In addition to that, Wing Commander 4, The Price of Freedom. Has a little slipcase here. Mark Hamill. Oh yes, great game, I love this game. Wizardry 8. I don't think I've ever played one of these games, but I'm gonna have to give it a go. Might and Magic 9. Neverwinter Nights. And a game I'm dying to play, I haven't played it yet. The Temple of Elemental Evil. So that's just some of the games I've added to my collection over the last couple months. You know, I get really fired up about adding old PC games to my collection. I know they're not worth a lot, especially compared to, you know, the consoles, but I don't know, there's just something about those boxes and those maps and all that stuff. I love it. I'm still looking for an original Fallout, Fallout 2, Planescape Torment. There's a bunch of them like that. You know, and like an idiot, I threw all those boxes out. It drives me nuts. I'm paying the price now, but it's super fun to look for them. As always, I want to thank you for watching my channel, and thanks for subscribing. Take care.